Hey, it's Valerie from Shalebrook Handcrafted Soap in Moser River, Nova Scotia. And today I'd like to show you another way to do hot process. It's the way I used to do it when I first began 4 years ago. And it's low temperature hot process or slow, low temperature hot process. But it's a fairly simple recipe I'm making, and I'll give you the formula for that after I do it. And because it's slow, there'll be places where we'll shut the camera off, and when I come back I'll tell you how much time has elapsed and what stage we're at. This is a new formula I'm using, and I'm not sure if it will go through all the stages, but in this particular low temperature hot process I'm going to let that batter fold in on itself instead of stirring it periodically, which you can do. So there's many different ways to do hot process, in the sense that everybody has their own way of doing things. So this isn't the only way, and you don't have to do everything I do. And I'll be showing you additives I add to the soap, and let's go from there. So right now my oils are at about 135 Fahrenheit, and my lye is about 108 Fahrenheit. It's a little bit lower than I'd like. I'd like that around 125, but I was a bit slow getting started today. And I have my Crockpot on low. So that depends on the heat that you want to cook at too. We'll see how it goes, but this will probably take about 25 minutes to get done. And I'll take you through some of those stages, if it goes to some of those stages, which would be, I'm going to bring it to a thick trace, and it might go to applesauce and it might not. And then I'll show you Vaseline stage and what happens from there. Okay, thank you for watching. Okay, so here we are, and I'm going to add my lye liquid, which has some salt in it and some silk. And it also has some aloe vera juice and aloe vera gel and some sodium lactate. And I'll give you the proportions of those when I do the formula. I'm just going to pour them in now. This is a 2-pound batch of soap, and I have 4 ounces of coconut milk. I'm going to add 2 ounces now, which has been heated up. Remember to wear safety gear when you're doing any kind of soap and you're using lye. That's that pretty thick trace right now. So you can see that that's really thick trace. And I'm going to clean this off, and I'm going to put plastic wrap on the top of this, and I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And when 15 minutes is up, or if something happens before 15 minutes, I'll come back and I'll show you that stage. So I'm going to shut the camera off, and then we'll come back. Okay, so it hasn't been 15 minutes yet, but there was a couple of things I just wanted to say to you, and that was you can put plastic wrap on your crock pot and the cover over it. You can just put the cover over it. You can put the cover and some dishcloths over it. It's totally up to you. But if you're using plastic wrap, try to make sure that it doesn't go on to the electric part of your crock pot, because it will stick to it depending on the heat of the electric part of your crock pot. The other thing is I just wanted to tell you what was in this, the formula for what I'm making today, even though I'm going to post it after, is I have castor oil, coconut oil, olive oil, palm oil, and shea butter. So I tried to keep this formula a bit more simple because I've had some people asking me to show them the slow way or the low temperature way to make hot process and the different stages. I'm hoping this will go through the different stages, but it might not. It depends on your formula. Hard oils versus soft oils. And I actually have a lot of hard oils in this percentages versus the percentage of the soft oil. So that can make a difference on how the stages go. But it'll always go to Vaseline stage. So in my lye liquid, as I told you, I had put, even though it's a 2-pound batch, I only put 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt and some silk. And I dissolved that in the liquid. And then I added my lye and lowered it to that 109 degrees. I would have liked it to have been about 125. And then I'm also adding sodium lactate to this formula at 5% of the oils. And in high temperature, I don't add that until after the cook. But in this slow way, I've added it to the lye liquid and put that in. I'm also using some fresh aloe vera gel that I scraped from an aloe vera plant that belonged to my niece. And so I'm going to name this soap just for you because of her. And I also am using 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and that's in a little dish with 2 tablespoons of distilled water, all dissolved, and I will add that after the Vaseline stage. I will have an extra 2% super fat of apricot kernel oil that I'm adding after the cook. I've already got this formula at 5% super fat, so the total amount of super fat will be 7%. And so then I'm saving aloe vera gel that I pureed along with some aloe vera juice to go in after the cook. So there's the super fat, the sugar water, 2 ounces of coconut milk. I have the maple syrup, and I have 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt that I'll be adding at room temperature after the cook, as long as some EOs and FOs. And I just wanted to tell you that, and like I said, I will be posting the formula afterwards. And I'm super fatting this with apricot kernel oil after the cook. Okay, that's it for now, and we'll be back. Hi, it's been 15 minutes, and I just wanted to just give you an idea of what that looks like. My husband's videotaping. Can you see that, honey? Okay, so as you can see, this is what I call turning over or rolling over. You can see that this is probably Vaseline right here. And it's going to be a thick Vaseline because of the liquid that I saved out to add to it. Now I could take this off right now and I could stir that up and you would have some applesauce and some Vaseline. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that continue for another 5 minutes and see how it goes. And to me that keeps the batter a lot more moist. And you want it as moist as you can get it. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. So we're back, and it's been 21 minutes. And I just turned the crock off. It was on low, but I turned it off. And you can see that that's, except for this little part right here, it's all Vaseline. So I'm just going to stir that up. You want to get at that translucent stage. And the things that I'm going to add, everything has been heated up except the yogurt. The yogurt's room temperature, or you can add that cold if you like. So now I'm going to add my super fat, which was the apricot kernel oil. And I'm going to add the extra 2 ounces of coconut milk, and the sugar water, and the maple syrup, and the aloe vera juice. And these have been heating up over on my stove in a a frying pan that has hot water in it. You can heat them up however you like. This is the maple syrup and the 2 tablespoons of sugar with 2 tablespoons of water. And I don't discount the yogurt or the 2 tablespoons of water or the maple syrup or the yogurt. Make sure you stir that really well so it's all incorporated. One thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take that adobe part out because it's all done. Can you still see that, honey? Okay. Then I'm going to add my hot coconut milk. And when you, I find that when you add coconut milk or any milks, you want to make sure that you constantly stir because you don't want that to cook on the bottom of the crock. So I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. Have had it where I dumped it all in, and because the crock pot was so hot on the bottom, it almost instantly cooked there. Actually, one thing I think I'll do is, because that's still really hot, I'm going to add, this is the aloe vera juice and the aloe vera gel. And I'm going to stir that in. It's a bit hotter than I would have liked it. I should have cooled that down a bit, but that's all right. You can also use a whisk for this. Actually, I might do that right now, maybe, is use a whisk. This is my 2 tablespoons, probably 2 heaping tablespoons, I believe, of Greek yogurt, or well-rounded anyway, for sure. You just want to make sure that that gets incorporated really well too, because if you don't, pieces of it can cook. Some of that yogurt will convert to sodium lactate as well, and that'll help to give you a more manageable batter for designing or pouring or whatever. So I'm just going to recover this with plastic wrap, and I'm going to let that set another 10 minutes. And yes, I'm using my fingers, but there's no lye in this. It's all been used up to make the soap. You just have to be careful if it's hot that you don't burn yourself. Okay, so I'm going to cover this up and I'll be back in 10 minutes. Hi, so we're back, and after the 20 minutes I added all the additives there, and I waited another 10 minutes, and I checked the pH, and there's no zap, so it's all good to go. Now I'm going to add my essential oils and fragrance oils to this. Can you still see in there? I have my cups heated up with hot water, and I've got plastic wrap to go over them when I separate this. So you can see that's pretty loose. It'll probably thicken up a bit when I add the essential oil and fragrance oils. And that's just a blend I put together. I was just looking for a soft fragrance for this. I hope it doesn't thicken up too much, but it'll be manageable for sure. And that'll depend on what kind of design I do. I was hoping actually just to do a random sort of drop pour with this, but maybe I mightn't do that now. So I got a hanger tool heating up already over there. So I'm going to dump out this water. I'm going to use natural batter and just a bit more of a lighter one. That's why I just have a small cup here for that. Once I have the colors mixed up, I'm going to cover it over with plastic wrap. And keep it as moist as you can. Another thing that you can do, if you find that you're going to go to do your colors and your batter seems a bit thick, you can always add a teaspoon of hot water. That'll help loosen it up. And I'm thinking I might do that with this one. So I'll be right back. So I added a teaspoon of hot water to that one. Not looking for any fancy design with this. I'm just going to pour it in, and then I might just do a simple swirl with it. I'm going to put a teaspoon of hot water in that one. I'm going to bang this on the floor. I'll put a thin layer of this. Of the green. And I think I'm going to put all my white in. I'll save a little bit for the top. Pretty full. I'm just going to bang that down. Okay, and I'm going to swirl that. I think I'll okay, I'm just basically going to go down and up like a figure 8. do an S on the way up. Don't want to bang it down again because sometimes that can make your swirls look a bit quirky sometimes, or not as smooth, I guess is a better way to put it. So I think I'll just work, I was just going to work with what I have. Sometimes there's different plans, you just have to go with them. Things don't always work out the way you want. I don't know if I got any of this left in here or not. Put a little bit on this side maybe. And then I'm just going to use a chopstick to do a design on that if I can. Not looking overly beautiful, but try a different one. Do some rosettes on it maybe. Anyway, one thing you should really remember is, even if it's not beautiful, you want your soap to make sure your soap is great on the skin. Because this one sure isn't going to have a nice top by any means. Alright, I think that's the damage I can do there right now. Haha, anyway, sometimes you get a nice top, sometimes you don't. I'm going to take this, once it sets here for about 20 minutes, I'm going to just let it set to make sure that the heat works through it and it doesn't have as many holes from swirling it. And then I'm going to put it in the freezer for probably 6 hours. I'm going to take it out and cut it, and when I take it out and cut it, I'll show you the cut regardless of what it looks like. So that's low temperature hot process in a crock pot, or slow low temperature hot process. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. So this is the leftover soap that I scraped out of the crock pot for the soap called Just For You, and I just wanted to show you how the lather was on it. You can see that's pretty dense there, and that's just from a little of the slime off that puck there, the soap puck. Really nice. I love it when the lather is so nice and thick and dense. There you go.